All right, I caught myself cutting the front of my video off, so I got to make sure that I don't cut off the front this time. Make sure it's all there. Okay, I think it's probably good. So here's where I'm at. It's how stupid it is now. So Mark Freeman quit, as I expected. He's gone into hiding, or he got in over his head and he can't figure out how to get out, or he's just like, I'm done because Heather's full of shit and I just can't stand her bullshit any longer. She fucked me over, and I'm sure he's not going to see a dime either. That's the thing. It's hilarious. Is Heather screws everybody. Don't you get it? Her attorney's not here. Mark Freeman just spent the last 2 years filing bullshit paperwork and going to bullshit court hearings and listening to bullshit from Heather and having to put up with me emailing him with all the truth. And he's just like, what the fuck did I just do? And he wasted an entire year and a half of his legal career for free over Heather's lies, essentially. He realized Heather was lying to him, and he's like, I just spent the last year and a half filing paperwork that was complete bullshit. I'm out. So Heather's got this new lady that is a specialist and like all, reasonable, and a mom and grandma and all that. And so Heather tells her, hey, listen, I need a new lawyer because my lawyer quit. But by the way, she's on her fourth lawyer now because lawyers are just like, lady, you're a lunatic. Like, you know what it is because when you screw your lawyers over and they find out, they quit. That's basically it. All right. So she had some lady lawyer in 2015 that she basically lied to, and when the lady figured out, she's like, lady, you're a lunatic, and kicked her to the curb. So then she got the Hogue guy. And he listened to her for a while until he talked to me, and then he's like, yeah, I get it. Okay, she's off the rails. So we just negotiated a paperwork that I would sign and Heather would sign. And then she gets this Mark Freeman guy who, best I can figure, is just the kind of guy who says, look, I don't think, just tell me what to put on paperwork and I'll file it. And I think that he really fucked up a lot. I think he made a lot of really fucking stupid mistakes and lazy mistakes because I think he's just lazy. Okay, so basically, this is my hunch. My hunch is Heather and Mark are suing each other. Or Mark's suing Heather, or Heather's going to sue Mark. And so there's a conflict of interest, so they have to part ways. Mark has to be quiet until all this crap's probably over. I'm guessing, okay? I'm not a lawyer, and I haven't looked into this at all. I haven't contacted a lawyer. I have a right to represent myself legally, so that's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm so broke because Heather screwed me so hard. I've got so many financial obligations at this point that I told people I was going to have, like, thousands and thousands of dollars last Friday, a week ago. So now I've got major problems. Now I'm having major financial problems because Heather didn't solve the paperwork last Friday. Okay, so here's where it gets funny though. So today, a week later, after me trying to insist that Heather sign the paperwork and then finding error after error after error after error and finding out that, oh, actually, had she signed it last week, she would have gotten like $10,000 or $12,000 more than she's entitled to. But she's so stubborn and so insistent on fucking me over that she fucked herself over. Because what I proved in the last week of looking, okay, so because basically the dollar amount that was on the paperwork was something that Mark Freeman came up with. And I'm not a lawyer, but I assumed he knew what he was doing, right? So I was just like, whatever, man, just get the numbers on the real estate paperwork and get Jose had $30,000 sitting in cash, right? All of the money to cover any questionable, like, is the money there or not? Like 30,000 sitting in escrow. And all the rest of it is standing by with a cashier's check. And I have all the paperwork to a T. Actually, not only to a T of what Mark wrote, but overpaying her. And then if you look at it accurately, not if you look at it Mark Freeman and Heather Fisher crooked, like John pays my Capital One bill and John pays this and John pays that and John doesn't get credit for the 5,000 this or the 1,500 of that. You know what I mean? Like all the money that she's hiding and lying that I'm not getting any credit for on child support records. Like according to child support records, I've never paid a penny on child support, even though she has no problem letting the IRS and the federal government just dump money into her bank account with my name on it. It says, for John Charnors, and it goes right into her bank account. And she's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not money. That's not real money. That doesn't go towards anything. That's just mine. That's just hers. Since that money fell into her bank account from the federal government, well, that's hers, right? This is Heather Fisher, dude. This is her brain, man. This is how she works. Since the federal government is dumping money into Heather's account. Oh, and by the way, why are they dumping money into Heather's account? This is why. Because Heather filed our taxes after we were divorced, but filed them jointly, right? So she files our taxes as if we're married jointly after we're divorced, signs my name, fraudulently signs my name, changes all the TurboTax information so that I can't even access it, you know? And then with COVID, I couldn't even get into the IRS. I couldn't even have the IRS tell me. So here's the thing, here's the irony. Heather files all the paperwork fraudulently, files the IRS, like gets all these Capital One cards fraudulently, lies to Capital One about her own credit, uses my name and social security number while I'm in, you know, isolation lockdown in order to get credit on my name and then default on it all and all this, okay? But here's the irony. Even though I wasn't paying attention because I don't do court work and I didn't notice about the Capital One judgment and I didn't notice about all this IRS federal money that she should have declared and I didn't notice about all the other things, right? Which when you whittle it all down is more like, she gets more like 10 grand, not 20 grand, okay? So that's irony. Last Friday, this is so funny this is, last Friday, she could have signed for 20 grand, but now once I've done all the math and figured out that she only is entitled to 10 grand, Mark quit. Mark's like, lady, you're so stupid, I quit. Okay, so she went and convinced some other lady. Some other lady's like, okay, look, I can fix this. It's simple. We had a court order. We'll just talk to him and just negotiate him back to the court order, and we'll threaten him that if he doesn't negotiate it back to the court order that Heather defaulted on, right? That if we don't force him to comply to the court order that you defaulted on, then we'll threaten him. You do realize how stupid that is? Like, Heather defaulted on a court order that she insisted on. Mark Freeman wrote the court order and they insisted on these terms, and then Heather didn't do anything about it, didn't follow those terms. She completely intentionally defaulted on all the terms of the court order. So I took it upon myself to list the property, find a buyer, get it in escrow, meet all the terms of the court order that Mark Freeman put together that was all screwed up, overpaying Heather by 10 grand, and Heather refused to sign the court order. Now, a week later, she's hired another lawyer to try to tell me that I need to sign it the way that it was last Friday, or they're going to turn it over to a conservator, incurring more fees, taking more time to try to find a new buyer, even though I've got a cash full price buyer standing by today waiting to drop all of the cash at Waco Title. See how stupid this is? I've got a cash buyer standing there texting me 4 times a day. Are we signing property or not? And Heather's new lawyer is threatening me that she's going to hire a conservator and find some other buyer. You guys are off the rails. Off the rails. Calculate all the child support owed. Deduct all the IRS and Fed money. I'm not paying Heather's Capital One bills. Figure that out. Also, think about the Capital One bills that Heather's gonna have to pay back for the 3 fraudulent Capital One accounts that she opened in my name after she had me arrested by lying to everybody that time, which was like the 5th or 6th time. Educate yourself before you start sending me threatening emails, okay? Whether you're a lawyer or anybody, before you threaten me, do some research. Have a good weekend. I'm gonna let this run a little bit because it seems like I'm cutting them off early. Have a great weekend. I'm gonna.